Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Things are getting more complicated in Ukraine, or better put, around Ukraine, because we're going to talk about Belarus. And it seems like there are a lot of Belarusians ready to get engaged in a war with Ukraine. And no surprise there, but why are they so itchy to do it? Well, maybe these guys are going to inform us. Let's see, because they would not lie to us, especially from the Ukrainska Pravda. They will provide us with all the information. But it's that saying, there's no smoke without fire. The same here. That something is true. Certain exaggerations, certain minimalizations, but something is there. So it says here, August 11, 2022. Up to 13,000 Belarusian servicemen and security officers are ready to fight against Ukraine, General Staff of Ukraine reports. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine says that, according to preliminary information, up to 13,000 active and former Belarusian servicemen and members of OMON, O-M-O-N, a special police force under the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Belarus, have signed documents giving their consent to participate in the war against Ukraine. I don't know if this is a provocation, like, oh look, the Belarusians are ready to attack us, give us more weapons and money and women and gold and booze. This is what people fight for. Alright, so it says here that source is Oleksiy Khromov, head of the main operational department of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, at a briefing at the Ukraine Ukrinform Media Center. Quote from Khromov, and I'm quoting, "Russia continues to draw Belarus into the full-scale war against Ukraine. According to preliminary data, up to 13,000 people from among the active and former servicemen of units of the Belarusian Special Operations Forces, as well as the OMON, have signed documents giving their consent to participate in the war against Ukraine. Their main motivation is financial." That means, are they mercenaries? "There is no ideological component in the actions of the occupying forces. No one believes in denazification." There are some people who really believe, and I think they're east of Ukraine. "Protecting the rights of the Russian-speaking population," and so on. Well, I think that's accurate. I mean, sorry to say, Kiev kind of ruffled up with their tanks and artillery the guys over there. And those guys over there in those areas after 2014, there were Russian-speaking population. So I don't think that I don't think that's how do you call it, science fiction here. I think that's a fact, that there was a war and the Kiev Ukrainian state, right, who took control of Kiev after 2014, attacked those guys. It was not those guys attacking Kiev. It was vice versa, wasn't it? And it was a war for how many years? Until 2022? So I don't think that's just nobody believes. Nobody wants to believe, not nobody, some don't want to believe. No one believes in denazification. Well, I don't know about that one, but protecting the rights of the Russian-speaking population, I really think that that's kind of accurate. You know, how kind of accurate? I think it is. I mean, people died over there. There was a war. Those guys put the militaries against those guys. So what do you mean? I mean, fear and money are the main focus behind the Russian military presence. End quote. All right. He can say whatever he wants, and we can believe whatever we want to believe or think or assess. Khromov also warned that in the lead-up to Ukraine Independence Day on 24th August, provocation may be staged at training grounds in Belarus, resulting in foreign casualties, with the aim of blaming Ukraine. Oh, so they don't want to say anything about those explosions that were at that little in Belarus today, I mean last night. where they said there were some explosions at midnight. I mean, 30 minutes past midnight, and it was just an engine. They were working on an engine, and exploded at midnight. Okay, it was not only one explosion; it was more than one. But representatives of 37 countries in total are expected to take part in the International Army Games 2022, which are scheduled to be held in Belarus from 13 to 21 August. 37 countries? Is the United States going? Representatives of 37 countries in total are expected to take part in the International Army Games 2022, which are scheduled to be held in Belarus from... They're still going? That's good. According to General Staff, the first foreign teams arrived at the Makhmulniki airfield in Minsk Oblast, Belarus on 3 August from the Russian Federation, Vietnam, Uzbekistan, Cameroon, Laos, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Syria and Mali. The teams from the Ryazan Guards Higher Airborne Command School were spotted there on 8 August. Now, quote from Hromov: "It is impossible to know the real purpose of holding the so-called games on the territory of Belarus, whose authority constantly accused Ukraine and the West of trying to influence its political system. Let's ask the question, why aren't these games being held at the much hyped Alabino training ground in Moscow Oblast? Why must these games be held right before Ukraine's Independence Day? Because that's what they want." So, this is a paranoid, no paranoid, it's a paranoid and I would say narcissistic behavior here. You think you're the center of the universe here. You think that everything is about you. Nobody has to move. Everything is in relation to you. If tomorrow is what, Friday? Wait a second. Let's ask Ukraine if tomorrow can be Friday. This is a mentality that these guys think that now the whole world stops and this is a global crisis. Sorry to break the news for you. This is not a global. It's between two countries, made a territorial and a regional situation by the Americans and their how do you call it, bottom feeder countries from Europe. That's all. That's all what it is. There's no more than that. They try to make it bigger, but it's not. So these guys have to stop a little bit their narcissistic view of the whole incident and just recognize it for what it is. They did something bad. Those guys were going to punch you in the face. These guys told them, no, that's not going to happen. And when I say something bad, I will go to 2008. And then I go to 2014. And then I go to 2022. So you see, it's like 3 stages. 2008, oh, we can invite Ukraine, one day will join NATO. Boom! The Russia was like, what? What? You say what? Huh? That's one thing. The other one was 2014, the overthrow of a democratic and elected legitimate government with the help of the West. The West toppled him. And the third one, again, the hostilities in 2022. Minsk Protocol agreements ignored, right? They still fight over there. They still fought in East Ukraine. So what do you want? It's just between you guys. The rest, those guys inserted their influence because that's what they do. That's what they do. It's about Russia, not about you. This is about Russia and US hegemony and other economic and financial interests. You're not about Ukraine. You're just over there a piece of grass that the elephants are going to stamp on. That's what it is. You know, that saying, who's losing when elephants fight? The grass underneath. So let's see if anything else here. Experts believe it cannot be ruled out that a short sabotage will be carried out at this time with the intention of causing foreign casualties, with Ukraine subsequently being demolished and accused of every possible and impossible sin, creating further grounds for the Belarusian people to be openly drawn into Putin's murderous plans. If Belarus somehow enters this, I guarantee you that the West will not stay. And again, the word guarantee. I predict. I like the word guarantee, but I don't know, for whatever reason. I predict that the West will say, now it's fair game. Poland will be like, Even though I don't think they want to really get with casualties, I will probably they will probably let Ukraine still be under the whatever it is right now, have casualties, but everybody's going to be, we're going to support you to the point that we're going to be shot at by the Russians, because that's how they like it, from the distance. You know, they touch the shit from the distance. They don't go over there and say, okay, now let's fight. No, you stay over there and you fight, and I'm going to give you this, I give you massage, I use the towel a little bit. Now round 5, go beat him. That's how it is. That's what they do. Just weasels. Thank you very much. And it's good that it's weasels, because if these guys will really get in a war, then we're all gonna be weasels, if you know what I mean. Pieces of weasels. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.